How's it going, YouTube? In this video we have 3 Musketeers going up against Gabubond. These are 2 decks that were playable in previous formats, and people are still trying to find ways to, make them good in BT7, which I respect. And as we get into the future when we get more exciting cards in BT8, it'll be interesting to see how people, try and keep these decks. So we have, the standard Gabubond plus hybrid package. As for the Musketeers, I'm not sure exactly what this player's build is, but we'll see. I've seen a bunch of, Icemon shenanigans, that's for sure. And what a fantastic start, Analog Youth. Finding the Icemon and then picking up, or sending 2 7-cost options to the trash. I'd say a pretty strong start. I mean, on the other hand, when you're playing Gabubond, like, is there a better opening than Gabubond and then play the Mat? So, gets the Stravy. I think for the blue player, it's a matter of finding the right pieces. Ooh, the Tommy there is insane. Actually slows down Musketeers so much. What an insane security hit. But I mean, finding the right pieces, like, you want your Stravimons and your hybrids, but then you want your Gabus in the back with the Mat, right? When it all comes together, it looks insane, but I feel like it doesn't always work out. But, we'll see how it goes. Like this way, where he has the, great Flower Boy Gabu in the back with the Mat, as well as having access to the hybrids to freeze and stun. It's pretty powerful stuff. Musketeer player definitely wanted the Icemon to die, and it losing the Inheribles means that it's going to lose quite a bit of cycle. Now the Korikaku is going to fully stun the board. Does it into a fly bullet, but honestly, the job is done. Honestly, he might just play another Mat, and then next game next turn have game, right? It could be it could be that simple. Yeah, there it is. So now as the Musketeer player, there's 3 hits next turn, plus potential hybrid shenanigans on top of that. You don't really want to pass over any memory, but his deck doesn't really have any great defensive tools, I don't think, and I don't see how he's gonna get out of this. Might just be a matter of man, that Tommy hidden security slowing down the Icemon was just too much. Or maybe it's just in this matchup, Musketeer player needs a bit of time to set up their trash and get their deck and cycle going. While the Gabubond player, is able to play very aggressively, having access to the, Bond. Goes into the Rebelli, which would be good in theory. Getting a block of retaliation could matter. Problem is that the Gabubond can just bottom deck it and then won't have to worry about it. Also, Gabubond doesn't die to Fly Bullet, because Fly Bullet can't kill level 7s. So it strictly has to be a Trump Sword insecurity. There's a Happy Pool Showering in the trash, and I don't think he plays that many in the deck. It's just the least used option. So he might be looking at maybe Jack Straight if he plays those, which I don't know, he might not. And then Happy Bullet Showering or Trump Sword, which again, I don't even know, maybe they're not even playing Trump Sword these days, who knows. I got one player taking a second. He's not gonna go for it. Maybe he doesn't have it, right? Maybe he thought it was a risk, or maybe he just didn't have it. You have to run all these other hybrid cards. I can't imagine you're running 4 Bond of Friendship, so maybe he just, hadn't drawn it. It's still pretty early into the game, to be honest. When he promoted, he drew an extra 2 cards, so maybe he was hoping he would see it there. But if he doesn't have the Bond of Friendship, then I'm actually curious what is the line of play then, because the Rebelli actually does do some work, and this is a case where the Tamers are not the Tommy. You're not going to get the Freeze, not Sorry Joe, things like that. So if he had the Bond of Friendship, I think the game would have been over for sure, but he didn't. So we're going to see if the Musketeer player can bounce back. Honestly, he still has 2 security, and he's probably able to clear the board, while maybe pushing in a bit of damage and continue to fill the trash. So this game might completely turn because of that. I think a BL Star might still be a bit too expensive, but I mean, it might be what he has to do anyway, right? Okay, gonna start with a Death Claw. I think he wants the Analog Youth, yeah, extra hatch and memory. The extra hatch is actually a big deal. This could help you get game the following turn. Yeah, as well as, cycle through. And having the Ghastly in the back is a great play, because when you are going to go for a game against blue, having the Ghastly on the board means that you're immune against Hammer Spark, you can close the game out. So pretty solid stuff. If the Gabus can attack, maybe it's good to just get the attacks before they get frozen. At the same time, you could potentially hit into more Tamers or Hammer Sparks, and then that would hurt. Yeah, the Gaboo does not die to Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark not that strong. But maybe he needed the extra memory to work with. It does feel bad, you know, but hey, that's playing against blue, man. The security is crazy. Like, that first Tommy hit was insane. The Hammer Spark hurt for sure. He's gonna go into the BL Star. Let's see how much he's actually gonna have to pay for it. Looks like 7, and gonna go with the Fly Bullet. It's the, you know, fully clear the board. So again, being able to have the Gaboo in the back, it's a big deal, because like when you're coming out with like the Stravies and stuff, it doesn't quite work right. But hey, he's got the Gaboo in the back. He's always had the good Gaboos when he needs them. Gabumon means he has to spend one of his mats, but maybe he only needs one more to close the game out. Korikaku, gonna start the freeze. Maybe he's got a Beowulf. Beowulf just, you know, so good. One memory going to Beowulf. Yeah, it's too good. It's a full board clear now. The other way gets the stun, the bounce. Oh, he swung at the Gaboo because yeah, he doesn't have Tommy, so he can't freeze the other one. So it's actually just going for the board clear, which makes sense. Wants to ensure that, you know, not gonna take any additional damage or anything like that. Probably set up for the game next turn with the Bond of Friendship, which surely he has by now. Plus he still has memory left over, and Musketeers doesn't have a memory setter, so you can, you know, potentially try and memory choke him, and Sora Joe is a great way to do that. The Gabumon can come out, but it does feel like it's a little bit too late now. And the BL Star means that, you know, the Sora Joe is going to give memory no matter what. The only way to deny that would be to go into a sword defeat to kill Sora Joe, but then it's going to pass over a decent amount of memory anyway. The Gassi is going to die in security. If only he had checked the Hammer Spark. They also deal with the Beowulf too, but you know, Gabu's coming out next turn anyway. So he's going to go into a sword defeat. Oh, taking out the mat. I like that. This way you don't pass over Sora Joe memory, and you also deny the Bond of Friendship. I think that's definitely the superior play. So well played from the player, great call. Beowulf's able to take another bounce back, hits into a nail bone, which is actually pretty relevant too. I don't think he's got any blockers, but you know, Gabumon could stop shenanigans. Does give over some Upa draw, but then that's hybrid for game, yeah. So the sword defeat play was good, but like I was saying, you know, being put at 1 memory means that no matter what, he's gonna pass over at least 2. If he hadn't cleared the, you know, if he'd done it the other way, then you leave up the mat and then you could just lose to the Bond anyway. So it's tough, man. He was not in a good position. I will say that, like, he could have died 5 turns ago when the Flower Gaboo came out. If there was Bond of Friendship, I think that would have been it. Looks like he didn't have it though, but the Musketeers player still wasn't really able to catch back up. The hybrid just putting in too much pressure. What I'll say about this version of blue, you know, the Gabubond hybrids, is that like feels a lot more aggressive than the standard blue Tommy stun, which is like super controlled these days. Because obviously the Gaboo gives you an extra punch, and then you can just get 3 damage plus hybrid out of nowhere, which is super scary. And Musketeers definitely need time to set up. We'll see if this time he can get the Iceman to die in security, I guess. I felt like he had a good setup last game. The Analog Youth into Iceman was a good opener, but that Tommy in security just changed everything, man. And then the Hammer Spark after might have slowed him down as well. Okay, so doesn't go into the Upamon, but instead choose the hard play with Stravi. You know, digging for those pieces. Maybe another Stravi, another Tamer. Once again, Iceman does not die to security. I believe that's an Aqua Viper, which I guess goes to hand. Could Deathclaw it just to guarantee the proc? Yeah. I mean, taking the body off the board is quite relevant. You know, every damage counts when your deck doesn't have the most defensive options. And most importantly, like, his deck needs the cycle right, especially against a fast deck like the Gabubond. Discards the Sword Defeat, already has a good amount of options in the trash. Although, you know, BL-Star's still going to be pretty expensive, so still needs to do a bit more of a cycle. Is going to just hard play the BL-Star right away, though. Cast in the Nail Bone, get into Digimon. So he passes over 10 memory, but since there is nothing on the opponent's board, like, I guess it might be okay. It is, you know, a lot of memory to pass over. So Gabubond can, you know, set up, although he still has to do the, you know, 5 damage plus the 1 check after, so maybe it's not that bad. It might be hard if he can't, like, he can't bounce the Icemon, right? Nothing can attack. He might be able to freeze it, but that's, you know, doing a lot. Although the Aqua Viper is there, and we knew it was in his hand, right? So that's actually a fantastic answer to the Nail Bone. It wouldn't have been that bad if the Beelstar was cheaper, but, you know, it's early on, and the Beelstar was still super expensive. He ends by just playing another mat, which is pretty strong when you have the Flower Gabu in the back. Okay, Beelstar did survive. Maybe he's able to, like, sword defeat one of the mats or something. Not gonna swing at security though. Perhaps doesn't want to risk going into a Hammer Spark or Sword Joe or something like that. Okay, so the sword defeat is actually, you know, problematic. Except it's pretty slow, and they could always try and just keep it stunned. So it can actually end up hurting you if, like, Sword Joe comes out. There's no way to Digivolve over it. You can't really do anything else with it. But Musketeer player does play Deathclaw. And Deathclaw and a Sword Defeat is a fantastic way to clear most boards. Gonna be swinging the Gabu, you know, not gonna go into the Bond of Friendship just yet. And then just keep the cycle going while setting up the Tamers and memory to work with from, you know, the Howlin', the Hammer Sparks, things like that. Will this Icemon die to security? He's got the one attacking Gabu, so at least he gets some guaranteed cycle. And it does not. I think that's the third or fourth Icemon that just has not died to security. It's unfortunate. Like, sometimes that's fine against some decks, but in this case it's just unfortunate because, like, man, he really needs that cycle, right? Analog, and then gonna go into a Dracmon. I think you take back the Deathclaw. Yeah, I like that play. Dracmon is a cool Digimon. I'm a fan of it as a rookie. And in the Musketeers, you know, you can get back any 7-cost option, but he plays 1-cost option. I mean, Deathclaw's such a good card, so I like that as well. And this is what I was talking about, right? Like, when you're the Gabubond player with the hybrids, like, yeah, if you always have the Flower Gabu in the back, like, your deck's insane, right? So it's just such a scary setup, knowing that next turn there's, you know, 3 hits, potentially more with hybrids, because the mat doesn't have to be suspended when you use this effect, so you can still go into a hybrid after. He's got 3 security, but, you know, doesn't really fear dying. Musketeers, maybe not the deck that's gonna get the most extra attacks off. And you can see that next turn he's set up for game. Assuming he has the Bond of Friendship, which, you know, he might not, but he'll get some card draw for sure. Plus, there was the Davis to work with as well. Okay, so we see he does play Jack Raid. Let's see if this time it dies. Will the Icemon finally die to security? Nope. Is that 5 times or 4 that he swings with Icemon? It doesn't die. Sword swings. Oh, passing over extra memory for next turn feels bad. Hammer Spark as well. His deck could have ways to get extra security checks, you know, like promote shenanigans mainly. But at this point, it's not gonna happen, right? It is possible that he gets saved from security. Musketeers deck does have good security, but as I was saying, like, it can't be Fly Bullet. It has to be something else. And I don't think we've seen a single Trump Sword. No matter what, he's gonna have to pass over a lot of memory. He's thinking about, you know, is there anything else he could do? I don't know if there's any way that he could try and save himself. Seems like a tough position for the Musketeer player, right? And you see how the Gabubond hybrid deck, when it works, it's like pretty powerful. I've always thought Bond of Friendship was a crazy card. I mean, we all played BT6 meta, right? That guy's too good. Okay, gonna just go into another Icemon. But, you know, really not gonna do too much. There's the mat, double Howlin' just in case. He goes to 8 memory. He's got the Bond of Friendship. Let's see if he maybe hits into a Happy Bullet Shower or something like that. First check. Fly Bullet, like I said, can't answer it. Second check. Jack Raid, but he's got so much memory to work with. And then that's going to be hybrid for game, and Bond of Friendship is going to take it 2-0. Well, that was a pretty exciting game. You know, definitely some decks we don't get to see every day. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.